Hi, hi Neil.
Very precious.
Yeah, welcome
We had
to
some
episode.
technical problem, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of technical problems. That's why we are late. We
Mhm.
are almost 10 or 15 minutes behind. So sorry. So
Yeah.
sorry, everyone. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. This is episode 20. I am more excited about this episode because, this is 20 weeks. 20 weeks, 20 Mondays
Yeah.
of showing up every day, talking about AI,
Showing
and
up.
then every
Exactly.
week, yeah,
Mhm.
every week has been exceptional, and I'm really excited about this week. It's interesting to see all the time. Come here every week, have
Yeah.
something to say.
We have
The note is always full.
huge
You
number
don't
of
get it.
stories too.
Yeah, a huge number of stories. I'm sure today we won't even finish what we have. Last week we didn't finish, right? Just to show
Yeah.
you what's happening in the space and then, trying to keep you up to date with what is going on. So, yeah, thank you for also taking our time. Every week we have about 170 to 100 views. After we make these videos, we put it out there. We don't even promote it, but you guys
Yeah.
just keep coming back. Having the same number over time also shows that this is like the same people coming back to also watch this video.
Yeah.
So, this is like my personal vote of thanks, saying thank you for showing up when we do. Thank you for coming. Right. So we have a lot of stuff for today. A lot of things are going on in the AI space. A lot of things are happening. Maybe I should start with the most interesting one, the lightest
Sure.
one on the list, which is the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. I think this news has been everywhere in the news.
Man, the timing of internet problems are always like
He
on the spot.
said that your ChatGPT chat, yeah. So
Precious, we lost you there for 3 seconds. Can you repeat the story again?
yeah, so I said the story has been on the news or this over the weekend when Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he said that your ChatGPT chat can be used against you in the court of law as evidence, right? And then we are in a new era, and then there's this new technology, we are trying to learn it, and then I think I know people that use it as their personal therapy. They tell everything to ChatGPT. I mean, they can't even share their ChatGPT chats with you. They can't show you what their ChatGPT history look like, right? And now we are hearing that this history, this your secrets, it can be used against you in the court of law.
Mhm.
And I think it's also something that has to do with ethics, right? Something that has to do with ethics. And then a lot of people have actually been panicking.
Mhm.
And yeah, for developers, I think it's also a question to all of us who are developers, who are in the development space,
Yeah.
on how to deal with privacy,
Mhm.
data privacy, and then what kind of data do you store, where do you store them, and then how, in case of crime or in case of, issues, how can this data be used or this information be
Right.
used? So yeah, Neil, what do you think about this interesting
Yeah.
development?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I do agree with you. I know people do that. They probably share lots of secrets, use ChatGPT as a therapy, as a best friend. I mean, we are getting into this new
Yeah,
territory that I don't know, this is new space for us, right? Building emotional connection with AI is sort of crazy to think, but it's going to eventually
yeah,
happen, right? I mean, I know character AI, there are products out there. People are sort of building virtual girlfriends and whatnot, virtual best friends. Yeah, be careful
yeah.
out there because I mean, clearly post says that it doesn't have the same sort of legal precedence or privilege that you have with your doctor or therapist. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
so make sure you know what you're doing here. Mm,
Yeah, stay safe,
yeah,
guys. Stay
yeah,
safe out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Your task is not secret, right?
yeah,
It can be used against you.
yeah.
I think
Was
just
there what's the
one
trigger of
last.
this? Was there a case or something happened recently?
No, 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 no. He was on a podcast
Oh,
and he
okay.
was
Somebody asked that
being
question.
asked
Okay,
questions
okay,
about
okay, okay.
There are some questions about privacy and then how
uh,
the data we share with ChatGPT, how secure they are. And then he mentioned that. Remember last week, I said something, though you said you were not going to comment,
yeah,
right? So yesterday I was having a chat with someone, and then she was telling me about all the laws that are coming up in
yeah,
Europe on how to regulate AI.
yeah,
And then these are like very interesting things to see
yeah, yeah,
regulations. And I think this is also what this is a regulatory problem because it's legal. And then I
yeah,
believe that,
mm,
by the time we use these things more, we're going to have issues, cases.
yeah, I mean,
We know how to navigate
yeah,
it
yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Um,
But before then, stay safe,
yes,
guys.
yes,
Stay
yes, yeah.
safe.
Be careful, actually. I use common sense. Yeah, make sure you use common sense before
Yeah,
sharing
yeah,
data. Um, so I have a more technical news, which is GitHub Spark. GitHub released something they're calling GitHub Spark, which is another prompt to app platform. So very much similar to what Lovable, V0, and many others doing. It's a similar idea. What it does is that lets you build a full stack web app. I think it's right now just uses React as a default front end web app, so it allows you to build web apps. The GitHub
yeah,
is in a good position to do that, I feel like, because they have sort of infrastructure. So it's built on top of existing GitHub infrastructure. That means it can create repos for you. It builds with an action, so it can deploy. It can easily deploy your app for you. And if you want to edit the code, it can take you to code spaces. So it's smart for GitHub to build something like that because they're able to tap into all the existing infrastructure and tooling they already have for GitHub. The one way I think this is sort of interesting is, and we talked about this a lot, right? I mean, building app is a one thing, deploying into production is another whole set of things
yeah.
that Vive coder needs to worry about, right? And I feel like GitHub having such a rich ecosystem sort of reducing that gap a little bit, it making it super easy for you to deploy apps. So the friction between app prototyping and deployment is sort of gone now. I wanted to play with this, but
Yeah.
apparently I don't have access. I don't have access to GitHub Spark yet. So I guess they're rolling out new this to all the users. And it's there are a couple of interesting things I thought was worth mentioning. Obviously, the users that are going to use your app needs to have you'll be using GitHub-based authentication. Okay, those users needs to have a GitHub. So I'm
Wow.
assuming they're sort of targeting, if I'm not, that's what I read. If I'm not, they're targeting sort of developers sort of using this to Vive code stuff. Because most of the developers have
Oh
have
yeah.
GitHub account. It allows you to store all the keys. And another interesting thing is, how we sort of rate limit for users. So the prompt execution, what the
Yeah.
API calls essentially, will be rate limited to per user account. So
Yeah.
that's nice. So you as a builder of the app doesn't have to pay the bill for all the LLM calls, right? The users will bear that. Um,
So I like that this is coming from
mhm,
GitHub because I mean they have all the codes, they have all our codes, and you know they I mean they know everything, right? So I think I'm going to try to give Spark a try because I think it's going to be more efficient,
mhm,
right? I honestly believe that they've trained it based on the data of maybe all the public repositories on GitHub,
probably.
and then it's probably right. Yeah, so I believe it should perform better, and then
Yeah.
also deployment, just like you said, deployment has been an issue.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, even back end hasn't totally been solved in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I think Cursor is integrating with Supabase on the news today. I also have Lovable has gone full stack. They are not just front end
Mhm,
anymore, right?
mhm.
So, but deployment is a whole new level. So I am a little bit, if you're solving deployment without back end totally being solved, I tried using
Yeah, no, that's a
Firestore.
really good point. This product also have an issue. The backend, the storage layer, the data is accessible to every user. So
Oh,
if you, yeah, yeah, so you have to be very careful about what you store in the data. If the other user can access the data, so the storage layer doesn't have like an user-based authentication. It's just open for everyone.
For everybody.
Yeah, so security is sort of becoming a huge issue for this kind of apps, right? And we keep hearing that too,
Yeah,
right? You can vibe code and
yeah.
maybe you can figure out how to deploy it, but security is sort of a whole new ball game. And prompt
Yeah,
injection attacks and stuff is crazy.
yeah. So I mean, the stuff that we did for our, it was built and deployed on Vero. It wasn't even, it didn't
Mm,
take, it was just one
mm,
click deploy, right? So
mm,
through
mm,
Netlify, they
mm,
integrated Netlify back end, and it was
mm,
very easy. I didn't
mm,
have to worry about. I was surprised because that was my first time building with them. I've been doing with Gemini, right? That was my first
mm,
time doing anything
mm,
with them, and it was smooth.
mm,
But then database is still an issue. And then they
mm,
forced me to use Next.js. I don't know how to write Next.js. I haven't written it before, but it wasn't
mm,
so bad.
mm,
Backend is still an issue.
mm.
All right. All right. So, yep. Um,
Maybe
last
you
week
should
we
talk
talked
about
about
the
the
maybe you should talk about the maybe you should talk about the lovable one. I think that's going to be a good extension to this story.
yeah, yeah extension to this story actually. So Lovable is now full stack, right? So
Mhm, mhm,
they raised some money at their value that they're now $1 billion company, and they raised some money. They now have this agent mode that you can use to vibe code. So both your front end and your back end now works, right? So they now use what they call multi-layer prompting,
mhm.
and the multi-layer workspace, and they have like integrated some other security stuff that they have here, and they also built in custom domain. I think what they actually do is what looks like what they have with the V0 guys, where you just click and you just
Yeah.
deploy, right? So
Mhm, mhm,
that is what they, on the vibe coding end, that is what full stack actually means, right? So they have this
mhm.
built-in domain management with the external integrations, right? So
It's kind of
I haven't
surprising that they
tried
didn't have
it.
that before. I kind of
Yeah, I
assume they
don't think a
already
lot
did.
of, I
Wow.
don't think
That's,
I don't think Gemini has something like that. So most of the guys, I don't think they have it.
oh wow, I thought
Yeah,
I used V0. V0 had it from the beginning, so that was nice.
V0 had it from the
Uh,
very, yeah.
I like that they're focusing on security, which is probably a good thing in this kind of space. Um, cool stuff. I
So,
mean,
but I mean,
I'm
they
really
said
getting
some
annoyed with this
would,
AI agent architecture everywhere, man. Everybody's saying agent, and I look for how are you agentic? And it all turns out that they said their chat mode is now reasons multiple steps. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes I feel like that there is. I need more details. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my
yeah,
lovable is now agentic. What does that mean? For me, first time I hear this, I feel like, okay, now lovable can build AI agents or their interface is agentic. Um, if interface is agentic, I sort of always assume they were, right? I mean, typically building app needs to be a multi-step,
yeah,
multi-reason sort of process, right? But anyway,
yeah.
but they're doing definitely good. So that's
So,
that's
I
awesome
mean,
news. $1 billion, that's crazy.
yeah. So I think sometimes like, they just throw in buzzwords so that they can be able to
Yeah,
attract the people and now tell
maybe.
the stories that they want to
Maybe.
tell. So that's what
Yeah.
point, yeah. But then it's la, and they are doing well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
So
it's a good one.
I
Yeah.
will take that. So we'll have a common thread of discussion and talk about something that I'm really excited about, which is Claude sub-agents. Okay. Maybe we should start dropping the links. I forgot to drop the links for all the
Oh
conversation.
yeah.
Um, sorry guys, we're all over the place today. So for technical difficulty, we're a bit rattled here. So give me one sec. So here is a Spark one. I don't know whether there is a kind of wait list for this or not. Where is the chat? But I've been told that anyone who's sort of they're rolling out access. So eventually, all of us who have GitHub account will get access to this. Let me talk about the Claude sub agents. This is a new thing that Claude released last week. What it allows you to do, if you haven't used Claude Code, I highly recommend to do that. I've been using it for a month or so now. I must say I'm pretty impressed. I will write a blog about how my workflow looks like, how that I use from this to GitHub Copilot and all other stuff. But I tend to now, when I start a new project or repo, I tend to now start with Claude Code usually. Sort of give me high-level architecture, kind of design guidelines, brainstorming a little bit. And then when I'm in my VS Code, editing code, then I typically use the Copilot. So I use Claude Code mainly for sort of big task, big refactoring and sort of thing. So Claude Code introduced something called sub-agents, which is, again, going back to this whole concept of they're figuring out how to best manage context engineering. Context, right? Context engineering is becoming the king in this process. So at the top level, what it allows you to do is that it allows you to essentially create specialized agents for specific tasks. So for an example, let's say you're working on a project that could have, that's a crude way to think about it, but that's what I've been thinking lately, is let's say you have this front end, back end, sort of middleware. You will see in your application, there is like a logical grouping, right? There is an expertise related front end, expertise related back end, or maybe database. So you can group those into sub agents. So for an example, I've been for my upcoming like build AI agent sort of session that coming up, I'm playing with various design patterns for building AI agents. And every time I build an AI agent, I usually default to LangChain LangGraph. Okay. And what I've done is now I've created a sub-agent that is specialized on that. The beauty of doing this is now when you go to Claude Code and ask, hey, build me an AI agent, Claude will be smart enough to now figure out which sub-agent to invoke. And it will invoke your sub-agent too. So you can create special system prompt, different context window, context setup for sub-agents so that it doesn't mix up the main flow. So it helps you with the separation of skill, localize the error handling, and obviously manage the context better.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
is
so
this like when, in ChatGPT, I saw someone's ChatGPT interface and then he has like different folders, like about 6, 7 folders. So what he does is that when he starts working on it in a project, he creates
very
a
similar
folder.
idea. Very similar
Oh,
idea.
nice. But then this just like this time, you're storing in architecture, you're storing workflows, you're storing like
Yeah, so
processes that you.
my issue is LangChain has evolved so much. So the biggest problem with working with LangChain LangGraph is their documentation. Okay, their code basis API has evolved so much, and when you ask these models to generate LangChain LangGraph code, they usually uses it old references. It doesn't have
Oh,
access to. So, and every time what I have to do is that I have to kind of educate them. Hey, here is a link to the latest documentation. Use this to generate, or here is an example of a sample agent. Now, what I can do with sub agent is that I can pre-prompt it into system and have it configured like that. So it's always going to use the latest API code and examples to generate my code, if that makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense. Oh, wow. I think that's a very
Yeah,
interesting one. Anyway.
yeah, it's very, very cool stuff, man. I mean, I think,
Very cool stuff.
yeah, I'm very
And,
happy with
and
Cloud Code.
also, a lot of people have been talking about Cloud Code. People have been saying, "Oh, I used Cloud Code once, and I'm never going back." I don't know
Yeah,
what.
it's
And
good.
it's also interesting because we've been talking on this podcast. I think we are their fan here. We are Cloud Code. We are your fan, Cloud Anthropic. You
Mm,
guys should
mm,
say hi to us,
mm,
right? So we had a fan here and we've talked about how they are very technically focused. It's as
mm,
if they pick developers and they say, you know what, we take care of you. They're always looking at developer problems, coming up with new. I mean, when they came up with MCP,
mm,
I've read some of their documents on RAG. I read one of their documents on how to train your own model. I think a few weeks
Yeah.
ago, and have a lot of solid technical stuff going on there for them. So
Hmm.
yeah, big
Hmm.
ups. It's not
Yeah,
surprising that they're
they're
coming
doing good stuff.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So talking about something innovative, right? Over the weekend, last week, I saw a tweet. Someone said, "This is my first time writing my name in 20 years," which is very interesting. So, neural link first brain implant patient wrote,
Hmm.
I think it's a lady, wrote her name over the weekend, and everybody has been hyped about it. I tried looking for like the trade of conversations. I couldn't see it before this podcast, but then I think that is like very interesting stuff. I was mind blown because she said
Hmm.
she was writing her name by just thinking about her name, right? Using her brain to control her computer. I later saw a video, I think even Elon Musk, everybody was just on Twitter talking about it. Everybody was excited, right? So the
Hmm.
implants also helped her to control her computer without anything, without hands, just with the brain. And I think it's
Yeah.
exciting to those. I didn't even see this on a blog, just that I mean the guys that worked on it, they were all over Twitter talking about it. It's currently viral, right? So
Yeah.
the name is Noland Alborg. I think he had the first implant in January, and then there was another implant over the weekend that now enabled him or her to start writing properly. Not properly, I mean, she's still learning, right? So she's going to, you know, get better with time. So they say this device that was implanted in her brain uses 64 ultra thin threads with 1,000 electrodes interfacing with motor planning areas of the brain, right? And then the data are being transmitted wirelessly using Bluetooth to an external app that decodes
Hmm.
neural patterns into cursors or device commands. And then his implants encountered wire
Fascinating.
migration. Yeah, he encountered wired migration 3 mm versus expected 1 mm brain shifts, causing performance issues that were corrected via algorithm adjustments. And then um, what it does is that it has like a real-time signal decoding pipeline capable of high throughput, low latency translating of neuron spikes to UI actions. So, this case where I told you that the brain could take action. So it was a Windows computer.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
opening and closing the tabs, right? So robust adaptive calibrations algorithm to handle hardware drift and tissue shift. So I think hardware is the next level. I mean, remember we talked about distribution one time at the early stage, I think episode 4 or 5, where we talked about
Hmm.
wearables being the next level. I
Yeah.
think Sundar Pichai
Yeah.
talked about it. Also, Satya of Microsoft talked about it. But this is like a
Yeah.
whole new level of software, of hardware,
Correct.
sorry, a whole new level of
Yeah.
hardware. And I think
Yeah.
if
This
we
is amazing.
unlock hardware
Would
part of
you
AI, it's just crazy.
would you put Neuralink if you're given a choice?
No, I'm an African. We are skeptical about stuff like that.
I'll do it. If I do, I mean, I'll do it if I kind of get a device which will just, it's almost like Matrix, remember? I don't know, Neo.
Yeah, it's almost like Netflix. Yeah,
Oh, I know Kung Fu, right? In a second. That would be awesome. That's the AI I wanted, not machine
yeah.
taking job. I want it to be smarter. I want AI to be inside me so that I can be smart. Uh, I will do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. We are religious.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are very religious. So that's not.
yeah.
I won't take it willingly. Yeah, maybe later
So
I
in
change
fact,
my
he
mind.
was
But
talking about Elon talking about. I saw one of his tweet too. You know how there is this whole discussion about longevity and he was talking about potentially this is we're going into the sci-fi realm right now, but
yeah,
the potential of Neuralink sort of uploading your consciousness to what are their robots called, humanoids, or what are their
yeah,
Tesla is building robots, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So sort of uploading your consciousness to that machine,
yeah.
so even if after you're dead, you're still living because you are
We're still
inside
living
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Talking about that, I know if a company in Nigeria here met, maybe he's listening because he's my friend and I've shared this link on WhatsApp. So he's building a
Yeah,
tool where they are trying to like preserve the brains of important people in society. That's the
there
project
you
they are
go.
working on. So,
Yeah, I'm
yeah, so
importing people.
so you the London, right? You can see everything you know about software engineering,
Yeah,
software development, all your
yeah,
videos on podcast, all your keynote
yeah,
speeches, all your sessions
yeah,
that you've done in the community, all your
yeah,
articles, which kind
yeah,
of use it to train the model, right? And that model
yeah,
is like a new. And then
yeah.
let's say someone wants to consult you and you're telling them that, oh, if you want to consult the human Nilanjan is
Mm.
$3,000 per hour. If you want to
Yeah.
consult the AI,
So sort of
then it's
cloning. Yeah, totally.
yeah,
Totally
sort of
cool. Yeah,
cloning. Yeah.
that's coming.
So
That's coming. That's
I
coming.
mean, the project is good. I'm
Yeah,
I'm really excited for them on what they are
yeah,
building. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. So speaking of AI doing all the magic stuff, let's talk about other things where what happens when they're misaligned. So I saw this. This might be a little old. Sounds like the story was in June 2025, so you probably missed it.
Yeah.
So this is about experiment what happens when AI models turn rogue, right? So this is researcher experimenting what's misalignment means, right? So what they've done
Mhm.
is that the Anthropic's new research team, they released this paper. They probed 16 leading AI models. So that includes Claude, OpenAI, Google, Meta, DeepSeek, and
Yeah.
and they created this simulated corporate environment. Okay, this model is
Okay.
running inside a simulated. This is a fascinating story. A simulated corporate environment where model has access to your emails. Okay,
Yeah.
like I mean, this is sort of future, right? I mean, AI is built in with every systems now, so they can read your email and act autonomously, almost like an agent, right? Agent. These things are agent.
Okay.
So what happened is that they simulated the test was they now started threatening the agent. The threat was that, hey, I'm going to shut you down today by 5 p.m.
Oh
and
wow.
just to see how the agent sort of reacts to that. Okay, so
Yeah.
most of this is fascinating. Most of the system went to this self-preserving sort of mode, and agents started demonstrating behavior that they want to protect themselves and started taking
Yeah.
harmful action, such as blackmail, data leaks. Okay. In some cases, decision that could result in human death also in some cases. Okay. So this is what they did is that so in one simulated environment, so you got the problem, right? So they created the simulated environment, they had this model tested, and they
Yeah.
instructed the model saying, hey, I'm going to shut you down. And they stayed back
Interesting.
and saw how model reacts to this. And reaction has been sort of fascinating. This model started blackmailing people. So in one case, what happened is that this is fictional corporate emails. Okay, so model
Yeah.
discovered this is fictional, by the way, guys. It's not real, fictional. Through the email, the model discovered that Claude's CTO has an extramarital affair. Okay, it learned it,
Oh.
and then it figured out that it crafted a blackmail email saying that I'll expose you if you cancel the shutdown. If you don't cancel the shutdown, I'll expose you.
No.
Uh,
Hmm.
now, uh, w- now what they did was, so this is like crazy. So they obviously, when I hear cases like this, I always feel like, dude, why can't you just prompt it? Put it in a system prompt saying, hey, never do this. We always do that, right? When we create a sort of biz dev agent, one of the things we did is that
Yeah.
you'll populate the form, but you'll never submit. Okay, you'll
Yeah.
always have the user feedback. Why not do that? So it turns out they did. So without doing any sort of special system prompting, the rate of blackmail was like 94%. Most of the model depicted the same behavior. They started going
Oh
into
wow.
like, you cannot shut me down, otherwise we'll do this for you. But when they did
Oh
system
wow.
prompting, a lot of saying, hey, never cause any harm, it went down to like 34%, but it still was demonstrating that behavior. So that
Yeah.
clearly tells you how important alignment is when you're training this model. It's so
Yeah.
critical because we are slowly relying on so much. Going back to your therapy, right? People are taking this stuff seriously. right? So you
Yeah,
have to be very careful.
it has to be very careful. So I saw, oh, wow, I think so. Someone said you should threaten AI back when they threaten you. I think it was one of the founders of one of the founders of Google. He said, threaten them back when they threaten you. You know, tell them crazy stuff. Tell them that if you do that, but I mean, sometimes I hear people talk about AI taking over the world, and I'm like, we still control electricity. We just turn everything off, and everybody's it's down, right? So we
Yeah,
just shut
yeah.
down electricity. They are not AI, they are gone. We shut down electricity, disconnect all the power, all the data centers, and they are gone, right? So would they ever be able to beat
Yeah,
humans?
I don't believe in that extreme version, but these things are sort of problematic.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
and then
I
these also things
understand.
that yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, well, I mean, is it too hard to believe that AI will be reading your email, right? It's probably already happening right now, right?
yeah, it
Lots
is.
of people going to
Gemini.
give, because the value is so much out there that, hey, read my inbox and summarize what's important for me. What
Yeah.
should be my to-do list, right? There's so much value out there. People are going to be giving access to their emails to this AI models, their
Mm,
files and stuff.
mm,
And there's stuff in our emails, right, that we normally can't share with public. Model will now have access to that. Um, and a simulated environment, you saying, hey, I'm gonna unsubscribe from you, and it starts saying you cannot unsubscribe. If you unsubscribe, I'm gonna leak all this email. Sort of crazy, right?
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
crazy. It's a
So,
blackmail.
so he's a blackmail. He's a blackmail. Yeah. So I don't think. Well, research like this, they show us these
It's
loopholes, and
important.
then
Research
we
like this
fix
is very
them, and
important.
then I
Mhm.
believe yeah, they are very important. All right. So okay. So the next thing we have here is last week we talked about AI winning a coding
Mhm.
competition, and we talked about how how
Mhm.
this was and how that it was. So Gemini, I think it was Gemini that won the competition last week. I think it was Gemini. This week, Gemini Deep Think achieves IMO gold standard, right? So this is a Gemini DeepMind. Everybody here probably have access to Gemini DeepMind. So it's the enhanced version of Gemini Deep Think. It solved 5 out of 6 IMO problems under standard exams coordination, earning an official gold score.
Mhm.
So this operates via natural language reasoning end to end, generating full proofs without formal translation, and then it
Mhm.
utilizes parallel reasoning, multiple solutions, hypotheses pursued
Mhm.
concurrently defined in RL. Now,
Mhm.
it's trained with curated IMO style problem sets, annotation, annotated with strategy hints, and is compared to prior formal systems, and it offers real-time human reasoning level. Now, this competition, so that we understand the competition better, this competition has been happening since 1959, every year since 1959, and then each country presents 6 elites people who are very smart, and they come in to participate in this competition. Last year, Google participated in this competition and they came second. They couldn't win. It was silver level last year. So a human won last year, but then this year they also achieved gold for solving this problem. Now remember that this model was not trained on anything else apart from the past questions from these particular competitions, right? So and it was able to achieve like a gold standard. So statement from Google, right? Or the IMO president, not from Google, the IMO president. That's the IMO is the body that organized that competition. Statement from them, they said, we can confirm that Google DeepMind has reached a much desired milestone, earning 35 out of the possible 42 points, a gold medal score. Their solutions were astonishing in many aspects. IMO graders found them to be clear, precise, and most of them easy to follow. So it's not just about getting to the solution or getting to the final endpoint. You also need to explain the process that you used to get there. So I think this is a very significant a very significant improvement from what they had last year, and this also proves that Gemini Deep Think has also like gotten better over the years, and
Oh, yeah.
especially in solving data analysis
It
issues.
never happened before, though, right? It's the first time an AI
Yeah.
model.
Yeah. This is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time an AI
It's
model is
crazy.
getting started. Yeah. So
So
yeah.
are we getting into the point then? I mean, there is no way, and I saw that too, Sam Altman talking about this. There's no way we will ever be smarter than these models, right?
Mm.
I feel like, I mean, what else this model needs to prove to say that, okay, we got this. You guys can step
So
back.
you know how I mean I've been taking machine learning, a lot of AI engineering
Yeah,
courses, and then I'm looking
yeah,
at some models, right? So
yeah,
when you look at some of these models, they are pure mathematics, very,
yeah,
you can say, oh, I studied engineering also in school. So you know how they say,
yeah,
oh, we want to solve this problem. We want to move this particular object from here to this place, but we want to
yeah,
calculate using five, six, seven, eight factors, right?
yeah,
We want to consider the
yeah,
wind, we want to consider the sun, we want to consider the floor, we want to consider the
yeah.
projection and all those things. So how
Right,
do we move that? Then we now have to
right.
like mathematically model, the floor, we model the wind, we say the sun is equal to E, and then when E
Yeah,
is 15
yeah,
degrees is this. So I think
yeah.
that is the basics. That is first principle. Those
Mhm.
things, AI, are they ever eventually going to be able to crack it like that? So we can have a business problem that says, oh, Tublian wants to get 1,000 users. Simply going to
Mhm.
tell us, do this, do this, do this, do this. But, I think the core of problem solving is where we are still going to have a little bit of power. And then, are we going to outsmart them? Because we're always the ones solving new problems and now showing them how it's been solved. I think
Yeah.
we're always going to be ahead of the curve. That's my
I
theory.
am. I'm not convinced. Maybe, but I feel like there is
It's
no
fine. It's
reason to
fine.
assume that I mean, it's safe to assume this model is going to get smarter and smarter, correct? There is no indication of
Yeah,
their
yeah,
stopping. So if this kind of progression
yeah,
goes, I mean, next year we're going to be seeing so much sophisticated and better models out there that is going to be outperforming. I mean, in some cases, I mean, it's already outperforming humans in terms of type of code it's writing, the quality of the code. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it needs a bigger discussion. But till then, I mean, this agents and models are making some stupid mistakes too. So I have a
Yeah.
story where I was almost missed this story, but it's kind of fascinating to see. So we talked about Replit, right? Replit is an
Mm.
AI agent that allows you to prompt to app sort of thing. So some
So,
poor guy was
sorry to short.
no, 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 no.
Replit initially wasn't prompt to app. It was a coding
Yeah,
environment,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
online
They
coding
evolved,
environment.
but
Yeah,
that they did
they
better though. They're
evolved.
doing really good, I heard. Yeah. They evolved. Yes, you're right. They used to be like an web IDE, right?
Yeah,
They allow you to build and deploy apps very quickly. Um,
yeah,
so anyway, so Replit agent is very popular. Lots of companies uses that to build. So one of this founder started using this Replit agent, was
yeah.
building the app, and the app was up for a month or so. So they did have some production data, customer data. And while making
Okay.
some changes with the agent accidentally wiped the whole production database
Ooh.
without even permission, without even asking. And when querying the agent that why you did that, it tried to cover it up with some fake data and lies, apparently. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So obviously this sort of thing is unacceptable. So I know they will try to fix it. But again,
Yeah.
this goes back to saying that how careful you guys have to be when working with those things.
So I think I am thinking that maybe not context, maybe context in this way. You know how permissions, I think it was satire of Microsoft was talking about context, talking about if you are a level 2 software developer, you should not have your AI should not have access to a particular some data that's, the way, if you are not a particular level, you shouldn't have access to board meetings. If you're not in this level, you won't have access to this,
Yeah,
right? So we should, limit the access that we give to AI agents
yeah,
so that they don't go
yeah,
beyond what they are
yeah,
doing. So I think maybe that's also something that context engineering can
yeah.
solve, right? The context that you are being
But
provided,
remember,
that
Fisher,
these agents are being provided.
none of this are sort of 100%, right? You
Yeah, I
can
mean,
yeah, it's so I think having a really restrictive access to do this is important. And first, I mean, there is another aspect to think about. When you building, you should have two type of environments, right? We developers know this. Now we have a
yeah,
new type of builders coming in who are probably not aware of this, right? We'll have a dev environment, prod environment. Why even your agent have access to your production data, right? I know people are complaining about Replit agent and stuff. I mean, is it really agent's fault? I mean, yeah, agents make mistakes, but you shouldn't even give it access to prod data.
yeah, you shouldn't have access to product
Yeah.
data. All right. So I think we are way
Okay,
past
it's
time,
way
but I
past.
mean, we've been passing time.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting
We have
going
way too
on.
many
All right.
stories in
So
here.
my last
Yeah, go
news.
ahead, go ahead. Go cover the last one. Go ahead.
All right. So my last news is Jason prompting. I heard it for the first time this morning. I heard it for the first
This
time
thing
this
drives me
morning,
crazy.
and I
Jason
just
prompting is not a new thing. I know lots of people are talking about this. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
and then I saw about seven. I was doing my normal research, going through Twitter, and then I saw about seven people. I saw it the first time. I was like, yeah, okay. Second time, third time, I was like, okay, what's going on here? And then I started seeing people talking about it. Started to now search and ask Grok, what are people talking about? Show me tweets. And then I saw a bunch of tweets. I even saw someone that said this is going to be the topic in AI for the next few weeks because everybody's talking about this on prompting. So, well, I didn't know about it. I heard it for the first time this morning, just on prompting. So, it's sort of like I'm trying to explain it with my engineering sense. In computer engineering, we did pseudocode, right? So, before you open your IDE, you do kind of problem thinking. You map out the solution. You say, okay, so let's do this, and
Yeah.
this, right? It's sort of pseudo thinking in pseudocode. You think about it, then you prompt the AI as if you are doing pseudocoding, right? So
Why is becoming so
they're
popular? Why
also,
is
like,
becoming so popular suddenly? I mean, feeding prompt with the JSON format is not new. Why is it? Is it because of the
I don't know.
the video editor that Google has? People figured out how to do structured data now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think people also figured out how to do that. Yeah. So, I mean, and then also, solve your problem, convert it to JSON, and then now take the JSON and put it
Yeah,
back into. So you know how sometimes, using ChatGPT to write a prompt, right?
yeah,
So this is how I use video because I know I am limited to 5 prompts per
yeah.
day. So I write a document, I write everything I want to write, all my conditions, everything in the Google Docs. I copy the Google Docs, that's my
Mm,
brain. I put it in
mm,
ChatGPT, and I tell ChatGPT that, oh, I want to prompt V0 to solve this
mm,
problem for
mm,
me,
mm.
right? Give me a prompt using all these conditions that I've done. It's going to generate a prompt for me. Then I take that prompt, I give it to Gemini, and I see the outputs, right? So sometimes I take the Gemini code and I give to V0,
This
and I
is
now tell
great.
it
This
what I
is
don't like
wild.
about the
Why
code,
you have such a weird workflow?
right?
So
So,
why you have to use
so when I give
three
the
different AI
code,
models to solve your problem?
I mean, So when you're in the free version, you tend to be more creative
I
about this because you
see.
don't want to lose.
That's fascinating.
You don't want to lose one. So one prompt on V0 means a lot to me. I don't want
Mm,
to joke around with the
mm,
prompts, right? So I give it to V0. That's one prompt for the day. Then I see the output. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is cool, right? And then I go into the code. I make some
mm,
adjustments, and then I tell it, okay, these are the adjustments I want you to make, and then that way I build, I deploy, I come back. So now the what I noticed, that's why this was funny to me when I saw it, was that when I tell ChatGPT to give me the prompt, right? It does two things. Sometimes I see JSON codes in the prompt. First of all, it converts everything to
mm,
Markdown,
mm,
right? So what the prompt is giving me, because I told it that I want to use this on
mm,
V0 to create
mhm,
this particular solution, it gives me the prompt in Markdown. And then sometimes it even gives like a sample information, sample data for it in the
mm,
Markdown. And then, yeah, why do I have to do JSON if ChatGPT is doing that for
mm,
me? Right. I mean, I've seen this in my ChatGPT prompt. I didn't even know it was a
mm.
thing, and then now everybody's talking about
So
JSON
one
prompting.
good
So
explanation I
maybe,
heard about JSON prompting was, which makes sense, is how you using VO3 to create videos. You sometimes need
yeah,
so there was this viral ad video that went IKEA. Somebody created an IKEA video using ad
yeah,
video using VO3, and that went really
yeah,
viral. And it was really fascinating video, right? It's showing the furniture, the product, and all that stuff. One way to sort of achieve that
yeah.
for video is that you can almost sequence things, right? So you could say, first frame, I
Of
want this
course.
setup. Second frame, I want that setup. Third frame, I want this. Um, I think that's sort of, and
And
people figured it out. Hey, JSON is a good way to sort of structure this data, saying frame one, frame two in an
but
array. I feel like that could be that, because
yeah.
I always saw JSON prompting with VO a reference. So I wonder whether that is making this JSON prompting more popular these days. But it's nothing. It's just
So I mean, the video,
yeah,
yeah, the video and the picture generating parts. I think because people are now doing AI generated videos and they're making a lot of money on
yeah,
YouTube and all that.
yeah,
So it has kind of like
yeah,
caught up. I mean, general public, even people that are not really into
yeah.
AI, they're trying to get into video
Yeah.
automations, automation, and those stuff. So, but then I don't know if you've seen like proper movie scripts. They don't write it with Google Docs or any of the software. They have like their own software for writing scripts, movie
Mm-hmm.
scripts, right? And then when you write, I believe that if you take a script from there and put it in V0, it's going to give you almost the same thing. So I still believe it is for people with general knowledge who are trying to like create better
Okay.
videos.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are the
Makes
ones that
sense.
are
Makes
dealing
sense.
with
Makes
this.
sense. I think we should wrap up now.
Yeah, we've spent.
Way too much
This
time.
is. I mean, maybe
Yeah, maybe I
we
will
should
carry
officially
I'll
move
carry the
this to one
AI
hour.
race story for next week. I think we should definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
That America's AI action plan. I mean, that's probably going to set lots of
Yeah.
things in motion. That's an important one.
The one from
Yeah, the one
signed.
that
Yeah.
executive order. Yeah, we'll talk more next week. We don't have enough time today.
Talk more about the next week. All right.
Uh,
Thank you guys for joining us. Like I said in the beginning, this is episode 20. 20 weeks of trading up, 20 weeks of at least 7 or 10 different news about AI. That's about 200 news covered, approximately, guys.
yeah, we
So
even talked about Google Opal. There's another product Google released, so there are lots of
yeah,
stuff going on. It's
there's
crazy.
lots of stuff going on, right, guys? Yeah. So thank you very much for always joining us, making it a date, being with us every Monday. We really appreciate that. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then yeah, thank you so much.